Hey guys, welcome to the 10-day growth hacking challenge with your host Nader Sabri. Today we've got Shahd Ahmed, who is will be creating a secret hack, which we're going to talk about later, but we're going to be looking at something very interesting that any creator is going to have. I think they're going to need what she's about to show you. Before we get started, I just want to let you know that this is based on the growth thinking methodology. The book here teaches you how to do what we're about to do in the next 10 days. The 10-day growth hacking challenge is you get 10 days to do 3 growth hacks to 10x your business. And that's what we do here. So today we're going to get started. We're going to be growth hacking the film production industry, more specifically on TV commercials that are tier 1 level style commercials. And Shahad has identified the changes, not just in how content can be developed and is being developed, but the demand for let's call it a more effective way to create more form of creative outputs. I think that's the best way to put it. I'm going to let Shahad speak more about that because she can probably articulate that way better than me. What's interesting is we've seen data related to the creation of content almost doubling every year. And as the creation of it doubles every year, the supply and demand moves with it, meaning for every time there's more demand for content across all platforms, the supply for more better content is needed. And Shahad has been producing some really awesome big things. I'm going to let her talk about what we're about to do, what we've classified this as, and that's what's going to be amazing about this, is we're taking a 60-second, $500,000 professional TV commercial, turning it into a 15-second social media clip that would cost you $50 and you can learn to do in 5 minutes. Shahad, over to you. Give us a bit of background to who you are, what this is all about, and the transformation we're going to be taking place.
Sure. Nader, thank you first so much for having me on board. I'm very excited about this. I think it's much needed, especially in a time like today. So a little bit about me is I've been in the industry for over 13 years in marketing and film production. I've worked with Qatar Tourism Authority, Qatar Airways. I've worked with a lot of fashion brands and a lot of individual upcoming brands as well in the region. And they've all been extremely exciting, and I'm very, very excited to take such a massive production and make it into a 15-second commercial.
Yeah, it's all that. I don't know if you remember that movie with that small little mouse. Stuart, is it Little Stuart, right? Where they shrink this mouse and he's able, that creative Disney video. I think it's a Disney movie. So this is was about we're taking your world and we're shrinking it, right? That's the hack, right? That's the grand hack that we're looking at here. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that over time, people's attention spans have really, gone down and narrowed down. So we need to accommodate that, but still be as effective, if not more.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with you. So tell us a little bit more, a bit of what is it that's gone into what would make a really successful professional $500,000 TV commercial? And what is it that would take to make a very successful little tiny social clip that's extremely effective? And how do you see that? Where are the alignments where someone can shrink something that at that level that goes all the way to something that small and effective?
Well, based on my experience and my opinion, I think that everything is in the story and your message. I think that you don't really need a full-on 500-member crew to put on something effective. It could be solo, and it goes viral and it gets spread everywhere, and it's just as effective, because ultimately commercials are made to drive sales, or raise awareness or whatsoever their aims are. But I feel like now you can definitely be as effective, but doesn't need to cost you that much. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I feel like it's all in the story and visuals. And if you can create amazing visuals and give a clear, concise storyline that people can especially relate to, there's definitely a higher chance of it being a successful production, and yeah, definitely effective as well.
Definitely. And Can you share? I mean, we talked about this before, and I think this would be a really good piece of information for those guys tuning in about the format and the hierarchy of the format that you shared with me that would be used for like a really big commercial, but would also be equally applicable from a $500,000 commercial to a $50 production. What is that format? How does that work? And what can people do to like bring this format to how can they use it in an effective way? I think that's the best way to look at it.
The thing is, I feel like a lot of people overcomplicate everything. So I feel like it's a lot simpler than a lot of people think.
Okay.
But with, when they want to achieve really high goals and things, they think it's a huge process to get there, and they're kind of afraid to take that step. But really, you just need to simplify it. And you just need to make it simple and realize that it's really not that difficult. But what I feel are the key factors to have a successful commercial would be your message, your key message, your visual, your appeal, and the call to action. These are the
four things. Got it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's that. And then how you bring that story out is, I think, like, because you mentioned earlier, and I agree with you, it's like telling that amazing story, but in such a short time, that and a low cost is, it sounds impossible, but it's not.
It's really not impossible. And in fact, especially now, like you see like all these TikTokers and all the reels going on, like it's only a few seconds, but it makes people interested.
Yeah.
Your videos don't really have that much pull because it's just, after some time, it's just playing in the back.
Yep.
They're not really focusing. They won't remember what was said or what they read. And so it needs to stay vivid in their imagination.
Exactly. I think one of the things that I like that I've seen recently in TikTok, there's a guy named Maland, I think is his name. And he's like, they call him the Subway guy, right? And so I haven't had Subway in like a decade, believe it or not. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people who haven't had Subway. I don't know about you, but it's quite a while, right?
Yeah, a while.
Quite a while. So this guy, he owns like he's a young guy. He's a student, and he just started filming every day. It's a special filming technique. I think he puts the camera on his chest, or I think he puts it on his chest, and he kind of films it like it's from his perspective, how he makes the sandwiches. And so he does these voiceovers about as he makes these unique sandwiches and how he makes the cookies. And so what he did effectively, and I've seen a recent video where he's produced $44 million worth of advertising for Subway. He got people like me who haven't been there in 10 years back at Subway eating again, and multiply that by millions of people, right?
Magic.
Incredible. Incredible. Yes. Incredible. So
amazing.
It is, and that's what this is about. I mean, his storyline is very simple. I mean, it's just him making awesome looking sandwiches and him experimenting, right? And he teaches people things that you don't know, like unlimited veggies. So if you want more veggies, there's no charge for it. It's just like you just add them. I didn't even know that. So he's educating people about some of the Subway values that if you knew about, either forgot or didn't know. In my case, I actually didn't know at all. So he's done a good job at that.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of really talented individuals, whether they're content creators or just social media influencers, that really hit the nail, and they really get viewers to be engaged and participate and go check out whatever clothes they promoted, or whatever dining experience they experienced. And it is so simple. They didn't need this whole, production for that.
100%, 100%. And there was like a story when we first met. I don't remember if I was sharing with you. So I have like my friend who was a big movie producer like yourself, and big production and yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden Apple came out with these video clips that were all designed by iPads and iPhones, looking like it was done by a Hollywood producer. And I showed it to him. I was like, dude, this is the future. And he kept telling me, no, it's not, because you need this and that. And it was like more of like a mindset. And I was like, this is changing. I mean, if you don't see this coming, it's just going to bite you and kick you out. And it really forced him to rethink some of the things he was doing. But it's difficult when you got like $200,000 worth of equipment in your studio, and you're like, I'm going to throw all that away for like $1,000 or $2,000 device that can do that. And that's what it is. That's what the world is about. The accessibility to the tools and the techniques. And I think that's more what we're going to talk about, the techniques that anybody can apply, is virtually accessible to everybody, right? You just need a phone and internet connection. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
It. Yes. I've actually seen music videos that have been shot on an iPhone 4K, just
Wow.
in a 4K setting. That is absolutely it. They did not need a massive production. They really didn't. And it's remarkable. It really, you know, it really got me interested in this. And then the more I researched, the more I saw these things, I was like, wow, these people are incredible. This is amazing, you know?
Yeah.
And especially like, I'm basically focusing more on like the individuals and people that, you know, or clients or brands that want quantity as well as quality videos.
Yeah.
You know, because you can't shoot a 500,000, 500,000, you know, commercial every day, you know, but
100%.
you can do creative things all week long. And it's amazing what you can do with just your phone.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned the quantity bit, because let's go back to the Subway example. This guy's producing like every single day. And
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have $500,000 to produce a commercial. In fact, he doesn't even get paid by Subway. He's outright said it. He's not promoting Subway. It's just him doing his own thing.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's remarkable. I'm very fascinated about things like this, because
100%.
even commercials, like there's a usage, right? And like it can only go on for like a year or forever, and then it gets boring. After, honestly, if you see a commercial more than like 5-10 times, you get sick of it.
Yep.
You want a different story, you want a different angle, you want different people in the video, you want different scenes, and you know, this is all very easy to do with just your phone, you know?
That's it.
That's it.
It's incredible. So let's get kick started. I mean, give us a little background to your business. How are we going to shift what you're doing? And then some of the growth problems, because I think a lot of people can relate to some of the growth problems you're about to describe. And then the 3 growth hacks that we're going to implement in the next 10 days.
So I've been actually working with a lot of brands and companies in producing their commercials and corporate videos and promo videos and etc. And they kind of have this idea or notion that it should be 1 minute, 1 minute and a half, 2 minutes. And I'm just like, okay, sure, I'll deliver that for you. But how about we change it up a notch? Let's go this way. Let's make it shorter, catchier, edgier, more captivating. And a lot of them are very hesitant because a lot of people are not up for taking risks.
Yeah.
You know, whereas I am a major risk taker, and I love challenging myself, and I love challenging everything I do, really, because that's the only way I'll learn and grow. So I wanted to actually exercise this on the current, you know, clients that I have, and basically have them relearn or make them think outside of the box and think that actually, hey, we don't need a 1 minute, this much budget for an effective TVC. We can actually, or a promo video, we can do it with just a phone and a very good videographer, filmmaker, and call it a day, you know? And that's kind of where I'm heading. And again, especially for content creators and individuals who want to be, you know, micro influencers or influencers. I want them to know that, hey, listen, to get started, you don't really need, you know, all this equipment. It all depends on your creativity and being organized.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. And that's where I think what we're talking about, where the techniques, where if some people learn some really simple things, they can make some amazing productions for very little. And I think, so what I like about your shift, and I just want to point this out to the audience, that you've identified like these, let's call them just old school clients, and I mean that in a nice way, of course, because I can't think of any better term at the moment, but these old school clients of yours, they don't want to change. So what's happening is you're going to change, and you're going to address an audience that is changing, not just themselves, but work with the changes that you are ready to do and take risk with, and the changes that are going to disrupt their businesses. They don't see it coming and they're not listening. And so I think it's very clever of you to say like, well, you know what, I'm going to shift to the other side because the demand on the other side is massive, right?
Yeah.
Higher volume, lower cost, more simpler production, more output, bigger impact, right? Very different world. Huh? Sorry?
I love to be disruptive. That's great.
And that's what this is about. That's what this business is about. I mean, again, back to the Subway example, like whoever thought people would be that interested? $44 million in advertising, just him showing every day he's making subs. Like, hello.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah. And, you know, even like I've seen some of the influencers in the region where they, you know, they go into a shop or they go have dinner somewhere, and the venue sales does increase because that person went and they took cute photos and cute videos and put up a show reel and did all the things that they really didn't need to pay for. They just gave them a free meal or access to their, you know, retail outlet. And it's amazing.
Yeah, and that business model, I think that business model is going to be disrupted as well, because I think like what a lot of people don't realize is that the influencers, this costs them money, and it's a profession as well. I've seen them suffer. I mean, and there has to be a fair equation. I mean, there's influencers that charge way too much money for what they do, and there's influencers that are just out for a freebie. And so businesses love the freebie because that makes sense, right? And on the other side, they don't want to go to these big influencers. And so I think there's a middle ground in there where I think that you need to think to tap into. And so from our experience from building so many companies, we found that the micro influencers have always been where the sweet spot is. It's the smaller guys with totally potent audiences that just love what they do. They're not so big, but they follow what they do. If they said, come try a pizza here because I liked it, they will believe it because they're authentic. They're authentically connected with their audience. And so the world of like these small clips and contents is going to do nothing but explode in growth. And that's what I love about where you're going. Tell us about the 3 growth hacks and why you're going for them.
Okay, so, I mean, I could sit and, you know, and tell you, okay, here's what you have to do, here's what you shouldn't do. But I want people to actually visualize and see what it is that I do in order to achieve these. So the first one is I'll actually be producing, you know, a video for a brand, and I will be filmed producing it from A to Z. So that I literally hold people's hand and walk them through the whole step, you know, the whole process, step by step. And I think that's very interesting because a lot of people can't imagine, okay, so where do I begin? Okay, so what do I do first? Okay, so do I think of the storyboard or do I think of the mood board or what they're wearing or what they don't know? So I'm going to be producing a video, and I'm going to be filmed.
So
taking it from
filming the filmer to teach you how to film.
Yeah. How to, yeah, exactly.
Okay,
how it
cool.
comes together. The second thing is I want to basically give back and, you know, what I've learned over the years in tutorials, and to basically, but in the shortest amount of time. Like I can't do 1 hour tutorials. Like I myself can't, you know, watch a tutorial for an hour about, you know, little things. So have cute little educational tutorials that could help anyone around the world, you know, achieve whatever they're looking for in a video. And I think the third one would be to basically create a creative community.
Okay.
Globally. I would ideally love to work and collaborate with all creatives in the industry so that we can all learn from each other and grow as a community.
Great. So the first one is filming and teaching people how to do what would be done in a big production in a small way that they can do on their own. So techniques, right? And I think your second growth hack draws on the first one, if I understand correctly, which are like very short clips, techniques that like anyone can implement really quickly as possible. And I think that's where the 5 minutes comes in, correct? Like in 5 minutes, you're going to train people that how do you do technique A, technique B, technique C to get the following outputs. And you can do it with your very simple gear that you already got, no extra stuff, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and the third part is getting all these creators together in a community where they can basically learn from each other, develop each other, draw out new techniques, develop on existing techniques. Is that kind of what we're looking at?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I think that sounds awesome. I mean, listen, I've seen people develop these techniques and they do them and I shared some with you, right? Where like these guys would kind of like go with their phone like this, zooming out, and it's like you get this like, and they put a little fire on the edge and it looks like something is on fire and you're going to the fire, but you're really not. And like there's like really simple techniques that they're teaching in 60 seconds, actually, some of them even quicker. And I think some of them are so quick that they lose detail, but you know, that's obviously the platform that they're on. But I really think like once you organize the world of creativity when it comes to filming techniques and categorizing them in beginner, intermediate, advanced, and then breaking them down into different kind of emotions or different, there's just basically you're creating the categories and taxonomies of techniques that would be used in social, which I haven't seen anybody do. And I think that's if that is one of the things that you're pursuing and going to achieve in some of these techniques that you're going to develop the tutorials and the community and the training around it, I think you're onto something really big. I think you may be onto something bigger than what you think. A lot of people need it. They're ready to consume it. They want to learn it.
I hope so. I
Yeah.
hope so. That's the goal. I really do believe in creativity, and I do believe that everybody is creative, and the most important thing is to actually learn from each other as well. You know, there are tons of people out there that are, you know, superb cameramen and filmmakers, and I've actually asked them, like, guys, what would you suggest? And you will find that people who are very passionate about what they do, they are so eager to pass on the knowledge.
Precisely. Yes, I completely agree with you.
To, you know, because they have a plethora of it, so they're like, okay, let's grow this, let's make this industry better, let's you know, keep it going, let's, you know. But you'll find that people that tend to be very narrow-minded and quite selfish in what they know or what they feel they know, they're holding what they know very dear because this is all they have. You know what I mean?
And they're not willing to develop themselves. I see this all the time. Like they're just not ready to go to the next level. They're like, it's scarcity, right? Like, let me just hang on to what I got. Although the world has such a tremendous amount of stuff to just get done and do out there and learn. I agree with you. Yeah, good point.
I love learning anything and everything. Absolutely. I am so open to learning. You know, I have people teaching me engineering things. I'm not an engineer, but I love to know. I'm curious. Okay, I'm curious about, you know, so many things. So many things. And it's just, I'm constantly learning.
Yeah, I mean, see, that curiosity is the key to learning, and that's one of the things in growth hacking. So the core at the center of growth hacking is experimentation, and we have these 14 habits that we look at, which is what would a growth hacker be made of, and one of them is curiosity. Curiosity is one of those ones at the very top of kind of the habit hierarchy of a growth hacker, and usually they're so curious, like, okay, what would happen if I just shifted A and put B over here and brought C back into the middle? What would happen, right? And what would happen if I removed all of them and just kept nothing? I'm just curious, what would happen? And so that mindset of like curiosity, creativity, openness, flexibility, and there's a list of 14 of these habits, and I'll try to put them below, where we teach people, and they're actually in the book. I mean, we do have it here. The mindset part in there teaches you know, the 4 elements and how the 4 elements of the mindset work, and then the 14 habits, how they're actually used as a growth hacker. So as you just mentioned, curiosity and learning is like right at the middle of it, right? You just want to, if you poke at this, what will happen, right? And you're open to whatever that is. Yes. That's how you get growth.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that's amazing. For those tuning in who want to know more about Shahad, we're going to have more information below for you to reach out to her to get to know her a bit better. Is there anything else you want to share with us before you get started on your 10-day growth hacking challenge?
Um, I'm very excited. I am very excited. I'm fully charged. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to
Awesome.
go.
That's what I
Yeah.
love. So in 3 days, we're going to see you for hack number one. Just for those who are tuning in, remember that this is a flexible process. So there may be some changes to this, and that is normal how it works. But the point is that we want to execute. We want to take an idea to action as fast as possible so we can identify what works and doesn't work and then start to implement it into actual growth hacks. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at how Shahid has done that in growth hack 1, 2, and 3. And we'll see you in 3 days.
Amazing. I can't wait. I'm excited.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. So we see you in 3 days.
See you in 3 days.